Perfectly Honest podcast where we talk about families and our testimonies of Jesus Christ. I'm Kiana.
And I'm Michael.
And today we're talking about the 4th of July.
God bless America.
Fireworks. Boom, boom.
Kaboom.
And if I'm being perfectly honest, this was a very spontaneous podcast episode. And we're trying to record it, edit, and post it in one night. So
Exactly. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I've been sick all weekend. And so that's why my voice sounds like blah, 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 blah.
It's kind of cute, though.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like I'm a little old man or something. I don't know.
Okay, let's dive into this week's topic. So,
Yes.
Michael, growing up, you told me that 4th of July was like one of your favorite holidays.
Yes, it was. It was so fun because we'd always get together on my mom's side of the family. We would go out to Woodland, California, and we go to the firework festival and, firework festival, 4th of July celebration. And my uncle, Steve, he would do the fireworks show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so it was a really big event for us, and it was like one of the bigger events in California. Like, it was a long event. And so, yeah, I love the traditions that surround the 4th of July. Even one year when I turned 18, I was able to do the fireworks show with him. I was able to set up the fireworks.
That's crazy.
And that was really cool. We had them all electronic, though. And if you set them up electronic, it took all night. We started when the sun set, and we ended when the sun rose.
Was that so cool, like watching the fruit of your labors, though? It
was. And we got to stand really close. And when you're that close, you don't realize how much it really like shakes you. You know, because when you're in a crowd, this is actually something about audio. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I will. Large crowds absorb a lot of bass.
Oh.
So that's why you have really big subwoofers in like a live concert, right? So at the fireworks, you don't really feel a lot of the bass that comes from a firework being launched. It shakes you to your core when you're right there.
Oh, when you're right next to it.
Yeah, so it's really cool because you're far away. Like usually in the audience, you're really far away and you're in an audience, so you're not going to feel, and you're low to the ground, so you're not going to feel that much bass.
Okay, I just had like flashbulb memory. Our first 4th of July together, we were like laying down in the grass in the park, and we were behind this caution tape, but we were still close enough that we felt firework debris like on our face.
Yeah, I know, that was crazy.
And we could like see little sparks like flying through the air.
You're not supposed to be.
You are not supposed to see that.
You're not supposed to feel that. Yeah. I mean, I do remember that a little bit when I was like doing the fireworks before, but even then, like not that much. Like I think their fireworks, like they had them launching too like low or something.
Oh gosh.
And so I think they were angling them like towards the audience.
Yeah.
Which I think you can do, but I think their angle was just a little bit too much. And so we were feeling.
Yeah, it was kind of scary, but fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. But yeah, 4th of July, like I'm super patriotic. So is my family. I do love this country a lot. And so the 4th of July is always been super special. It's just felt like such a fun summer event. I love being with family. I just love it.
That's so great. And so growing up, I was not patriotic. No, that's not true. Growing up, we didn't like super go all out for 4th of July. Yeah. It was like maybe we saw fireworks. Maybe. Not every year. We tried every year. Maybe. I don't remember.
Right.
Obviously, I don't have a lot of memories of the 4th of July growing up.
I'm sure you saw a lot of fireworks.
So like when we got married and you're like, yeah, 4th of July. I'm like, really? Like that's really one of your favorite holidays? But it's so fun. So we're really looking forward to celebrating today. When the
and it can be hard. Like I was surprised, you know, I mean, my parents would do it with us every year, but at the end of the night, it was like, they were so frustrated. So it'd be like, okay, you know, like, cause we would just be so like tired and
cranky babies.
So yeah, that was an experience in and of itself.
So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of like family traditions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So in this family stress and coping class I took, it talked about how family rituals are like super duper important for the cohesiveness of your family, but also when you're facing like trials together, when you can fall back on those traditions that make life feel normal,
Right.
it strengthens your family and it helps you just like breathe in the middle of hardship.
So would you equate like ritual as a tradition or tradition as a type of ritual?
I would say tradition is a type of ritual. So family rituals can happen daily. That can be like, oh, every day. Well, like our ritual recently has been going on a walk in the morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. And like reading scriptures as a family. So those are like everyday family rituals. And then, yeah, I would say traditions is like a subcategory.
Right. So it's not Christmas time, but like around Christmas, we might talk about this again near Christmas, but there are some things that like me and like my brother Anthony or me and my sister Sophia were like, this has to happen on Christmas, like on this day, right? Like, or on Christmas Eve, we have to play hide the pickle or whatever it is. So, but it was really interesting because there weren't always a lot of connecting points with me and my siblings just because of our diversity of interest in life. We just had so many different interests, but we all loved each other. So that was a thing that helped us connect a lot.
Yeah,
Kinda
the
like
family
what you're saying.
traditions.
Yeah. Like a ritual.
Yeah. So I think it's also been important for us. Like it gives us something to look forward to, even though we're like in the middle of a lot of change right now.
Right.
And I've been like really feeling that in our family. It's like, oh, 4th of July, like we're taking the day off from homework and work. And we are just spending the whole day together as a family to celebrate this great country.
Yeah. I'm really excited just to like go and experience that tomorrow. We had a fun experience just driving around tonight.
Oh my gosh.
You want to talk about that?
So we were on our way to the grocery store and we started to see chairs lined up like along the street and camping chairs laid down. And we're like, are people really reserving their spots for the parade tomorrow?
Yeah,
and like
we drove all like the whole line for the parade and chairs everywhere.
Everywhere, like just lining the streets and lining downtown. And it was just like so cool to think of all of these families who are like, okay, on Monday we have to reserve our spot so that on Tuesday we can have the best like seat in the house for the parade. And they're just like so stoked for the parade.
Yeah, and this is something like us being from California, and I'm from a pretty nice place in California, but still we would never do that because we're like, someone's gonna steal it.
Yeah, someone's gonna steal your chair.
Yeah, like it just leave it out for a night and that's it, And like we have where my parents live in California, they're like right across the street from the parade too.
Yeah.
And so we see it, like we see that no one sets up anything.
No.
And then as soon as like I think the parade comes around at like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Kind of like it does here. But yeah, like 8 or 9, like people are all just stacking up.
Yeah.
Like they all drive and bring their stuff right then.
It's just so funny because it's like definitely an Idaho and Utah thing.
Yeah.
Like
you can get away with it here. Like no one's gonna steal your stuff.
No.
Some high schoolers might mess with it,
but
yeah.
No, like your spot is pretty much reserved. But like I remember one summer I was like with my cousins in Utah and we went and stayed the night so that we could like reserve their parade spot. Like we slept outside on the street, like waiting for the parade. It was so insane, but really fun.
That just reminds me of like camping out I've never done like Black Friday camping out, but like for a movie.
Oh yeah.
Or for a video game.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. I mean, you just think like, and your parents would just be like, yeah, that's okay. But like as time goes on, like it's just like, man, that's not safe.
No, I know.
Like, like I wouldn't go out as an adult to do that,
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting world we live in there. So that's why that American does need healing, though. The 4th of July message a little bit. We do need a little bit of healing in that regard. Mm-hmm. So it's just funny. We're like, America's great. Wait, don't steal our stuff.
But don't steal our stuff, please.
No, but like in all honesty, it is incredible the country that we live in. Like I've spent very little time outside the country, but when I did, I was like, I cannot believe how good we have it in the United States.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Just as soon as you cross the border, and there's other countries that are first world countries that, are not like that. But there's places that are not far outside the U.S. border that are just like, I can't believe that this is how the country is. And so I'm just happy that we have protection of our rights and privileges. It's good.
Well, I've never left the country, so I don't know. I can't speak to that.
You will one day.
One day, you better take me. But something else that's really been on my mind is just all of the people and sacrifices that went into building this country.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to forget, like, our great, grandfathers who had to fight so hard, who immigrated here, who had to go to war, who had to speak up. And then it's just a miracle that we even have, like, a constitution, you know, that all these great men were able to sit in a room together and write it and figure it out.
I know. It's really incredible that we do have a constitution. And would this be an okay time to turn to the spiritual thought?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just as you were mentioning that, this is one thing that is kind of cool. If you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is that our Doctrine and Covenants talks about the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to just bring that up because, this is like the one time of the year I can do that. And this is in Doctrine and Covenants, let's see, section 98, verses 4 through 6. And it says, "And now verily I say unto you concerning the laws of the land, it is my will that my people should observe to do all things whatsoever I command them. And that law of the land which is constitutional, supporting that principle of freedom and maintaining rights and privileges, belongs to all mankind and is justifiable before me. Therefore, I, the Lord, justify you and your brethren of my church in befriending that law which is the constitutional law of the land."
Wow.
And I just think that's so amazing. Our Constitution is really under attack today. And I even know certain members of the church feel certain ways about the Constitution. Mm-hmm. I would invite everybody to read the Constitution. Mm-hmm. I do think that most people who have an opinion about the Constitution haven't read it.
Interesting.
And which is really interesting. And it's mostly because the media and social media is shouting at you about the Constitution. Either it's great or it's not.
You're right.
And so you tend to like fall into one side. Mm-hmm. But if you really go in there, it's so broad. And if it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you could be like, oh, like this might actually, be something that is helpful for whatever our cause is. And but most important of all is it protects all of our freedoms.
Yeah. And
I believe that to be true. I believe in religious freedom. I believe in the freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. And I also believe in the right to protect ourselves, and many others that are written there. And so I would say, I invite you guys to study the Constitution, look at it, or at least get some good summaries on it. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to read. It's not easy to read, but there are some good sources out there that let you know, okay, here's what like a good summary of the Constitution is.
Absolutely. So Elder Oaks actually gave a talk on the Constitution and like how we need to protect it.
Yeah.
And so I want to pull it up so that I have the right like title, but maybe I'll just link it in the show notes. But if you want to feel more patriotic today, that is such a good read or listen.
Yeah. I love his talks about that. So.
Oh yeah. He just like really dives in there and says it like it is.
Yeah.
And
well, cause he was a state Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
Not big one, but like I can't remember what state it was in.
I can't remember either.
I don't think it was Utah, but he's so knowledgeable on it because that was his job, was to study the Constitution of the state and the federal Constitution. and that's just really so powerful, powerful stuff. And another thing that I wanted to mention too was in church recently. So this will be interesting to anyone who hasn't heard this in church. I know we didn't, but we have heard other people hearing this as well. Mm-hmm. We should have heard it. I think it was supposed to go out to everybody, but they were announcing in church the importance of voting And they said in the upcoming elections, it's important to vote for somebody who will protect the rights that are in the Constitution, the rights of religious freedom. And I want to read what that statement is, because I don't want to paraphrase it without like fully going into it.
And we can link it in the show notes too.
Yeah. So that's just something that, you know, is increasingly important. And I find myself torn either way with some of the candidates, even though I am a conservative. I talked to Keon about that today, and we'll talk about some of that later as we get closer to those, even though we're not a news podcast. We'll share our opinions and stuff. But
Michael's dream is to be on the Daily Wire.
No, that'd be terrifying. But guys, we wanted to thank you so much for listening today. We hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us.
Yeah, go out there, have some hot dogs, listen to some Katy Perry firework.
Paint your face.
Paint your face.
Don't get weird. Not in front of the kid.
Watch the fireworks, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.